All right, everyone. So I want to go over um, the reasons why people in general don't meditate. I'm a strong believer of teaching people not to do things. You figure people would know, but after having kids, I'm beginning to see that kids don't, you got to tell them what not to do, right? As much as we want to teach them what to do, but sometimes you got to say, tell them the no-nos, like this is not cool, right? Don't do this, don't do this, Anyway, so I've been kind of asking people, why don't you meditate, right? And some of the answers were kind of like, well, it sounds boring. And one thing I learned about being bored is whenever you're being boring is because you're being bored. I don't personally remember the last time I was bored. There's so much to do, so much to learn, right? But it's the unknown. And I truly believe in this, and I want you to listen to me carefully, and I'm going to say my mind, but I'm talking about generally about everybody's mind, but I'm not going to assume that. But my mind doesn't want to be here right now, by default. I think even right now when you listening to me, you're going, oh, I heard that before, or where have I heard that before, or that doesn't make sense. See, your mind is trying to justify it, but doesn't want to be here right now. And whenever I do, and I'm sure you do too, I try to do something to control the mind, my body will react. You start itching, your knee starts hurting, your mind will go somewhere else. Your mind doesn't want to be controlled. My mind doesn't want to be controlled by me. That's why we study self-defense. We don't study other people's defense. We study to defend against ourselves. So by default, I think I don't want to be here. I don't want my mind to be here right now. I want to be in the future based on what I've done in the past, but not to be here right now. And that's one of the hardest things is to get a hold and control that and to be present in the moment. And the way we do that, we do it through physical arts. We do it through our martial arts, right? People think they come here and they feel so good about doing martial arts. And I tell them, it's not because you necessarily do martial arts. Any sport you're good at, anything you do that you put your heart into it, you feel great about doing it. And I'm going to challenge you, it's self-esteem and all that stuff, but it's really because we get a chance to concentrate on one thing for a few minutes during our day. Because as parents, as I am, and a business owner and all this stuff, my mind is always everywhere, right? But when I train, I don't have that luxury. The whole thing is I need to be present to doing what I'm supposed to do. Is it a form or a combination or whatever it is? And that by itself, being in the moment, is what we want. That's what creates joy for us, right? And that's what we feel so good after workouts, right? Not necessarily workout for a heck of for heck of just sweating, but we got a chance to practice for a few minutes to be in present to what we're doing, right? So those are some of the reasons that people don't meditate. Another complaint that I hear, I don't have time. And the whole time thing is a whole different conversation, which we don't want to get into right now. But there's no such thing as a downtime, uptime, premier time, playtime, work time. There's just time, right? There's just a lifetime. This is our life, right? And it's an investment that I make in me, that will have the greatest return on investment. Because if you feel at ease with yourself, you won't look for enemies outside. And the enemies outside won't have that much effect on you anyway. If you're clear and really aligned, we'll talk about alignment in our next lesson. You just don't do that. So I don't necessarily believe in not having time, because again, we're not looking for that one sitting down by a Buddha head and all these kanji and music. Oh, I'm going to sit down and meditate. I don't have the right music. I got to have the music or download this music. It's not about that. It's meditate and be in the moment and doing whatever it is I'm doing. If I'm cooking, if I'm working, if I'm walking, if I'm talking to my wife, or whatever it is. A lot of people say I'm scared to be alone. Well, you don't necessarily have to be alone to meditate. As a matter of fact, the mind wanders off anyway sometimes. You're in a party, a bunch of people, and I'm already out, right? So that's a cop-out. I think that's an excuse that's not necessarily true. Even though it's good to be alone, it's not good to be lonely. but there's a distinction right there, right? So you can be alone in the middle of a bunch of people, but don't be lonely. There's a big difference between that. A lot of people say my mind is too fast. Yes, it is. My mind is very fast, and it wants to be everywhere. So we need to, like a wild horse, we need to control it. We need to bring it back in. And learning how to meditate will give you that little tool how to do that. So those are some of the excuses of why people don't want to meditate.